Welcome to episode 44 of the Unfortunate Diehards podcast. I'm Evan. I'm a Sens fan. Welcome to the podcast.
Hashtag?
I know.
No hashtag?
No hashtag.
Number 44.
Just kidding! 44! Sean Gabriel Pacho, 4 goals against the Rangers in the playoffs. What a player!
And Morgan Riley. Shout out. Morgan Riley, number
Never heard
44.
of him.
Can't forget Mr. Riley. Welcome back, guys. So we've got we've got some great stuff to talk about today, but first we need to introduce our abroad member of the podcast now.
Yeah, so we got rid of Sufi.
We've gone international.
And we've gotten British Sufi.
Yeah.
So to us from let Sufi explain. Sufi, where are you coming to us from today?
Wait, who are you, Omar?
I'm the Leafs fan.
What's your name?
And the Caps fan is no longer in North America. Omar.
Oh, great.
This is a weird start.
Let's come on, Sufi. You actually have to give everyone an introduction now because
Who are you?
yeah,
I'm still the same.
you're the same person,
I'm
but
still wearing
your
the same
geography
t-shirt
has changed.
Yeah. I'm Sofiano, Caps fan. I don't live in the country anymore, whichever country they're from. I don't even know what hockey is anymore, actually. It
So
all
he's
left
going to
my
be
body.
putting in the hours for the podcast now because he's going to be viewing NHL games at midnight or later.
That's definitely happening. I do have a fantasy hockey draft at 3 a.m. for myself on Friday, or Saturday, I guess. I was setting the time for that because I was commissioner, and I was like 10 p.m. and then wait, it's still not right. And then I realized I had to put it at 3 a.m. at my time. Not excited for that.
Well, he's going to bring us an international audience now. The British audience is coming our way.
Oh, I went to my check-in and it was like, the guy was like, we've had 6 straight students come through this like desk that are from Canada and are all doing law and and 2 of them were from Ottawa, and I'm like, okay, so like I'm not special whatsoever.
Yeah,
It's just
a lot of people.
There's just a ton of people from doing the exact same thing as me.
Wow.
At least I feel validated.
Here I was thinking you're cool.
I'm validated.
So we have some. Yeah, well, so Sufi resigned from Ottawa, and Mike Babcock resigned from Columbus. Let's get a nice segue.
I wanted to
from
talk about
Ottawa.
this so bad.
Well, we have to talk about Mike Babcock.
You want to talk about it?
I mean, it's the biggest news in this very boring off season. Can we agree that this is probably one of the most boring off seasons ever?
You mean Adam Lowry becoming captain wasn't that exciting for you?
Or Braden Shen.
Yeah, like
Braden Chen, I that makes more sense to me, but it's fine. We don't need to delve into captaincy, otherwise we're gonna have another Truba incident.
Okay, so let's break down the Mike Babcock situation here. I'm sure all 3 of us know exactly what happened. Yes.
I don't even think the details are like entirely out.
Well, I mean,
They're out enough.
We don't know if we're going to find out any more about it apart from what we already know.
I want to know I want to know what was on the young guys' phones that made them so uncomfortable.
I think we know.
What was interesting is
what was on Cole Sillinger's phone that made him so uncomfortable.
TikTokers.
Yeah.
Well, apparently, one of the big things about it is how Boone Jenner was kind of dragged into it.
And Johnny Gaudreau dragged himself into it.
Yeah. But Boone Jenner was dragged into it like by Columbus, pretty much asking him to put out a statement. So that was kind of I think the speculation is that his phone, like whatever meeting that he had with Babcock and whatever phone stuff was done, it was very casual and not done in a, I guess the word is predatory way. But I think with the younger players, his approach was slightly different.
I don't know if I would have used that word.
Well, I mean, that's essentially what they're saying, right? Like with the younger players, he's being like a predator in the sense of like he's trying to like put fear in them or whatever, or that's kind of his tactic to get into their heads and whatnot. Whereas with people who are there long term and who are veterans like Gaudreau and your captain Boone Jenner and stuff, he's more nonchalant and more just like, hey, show me pics of your family. What did you do this summer? Blah blah. Whereas with younger players, he wants to really get in their heads and stuff. So those are the ones that came out with the complaints.
Crazy to say that, like, yes, he took it to an extreme, but I don't think that's an awful coaching tactic in the sense of like the guys who've been there, done that for a while. should have more respect. Where if like you're a young guy, like if you're a hard ass coach, because there's player coaches, there's like hard ass coaches, whatever. If the guy's being hard on Johnny Gaudreau, like that's more unreasonable than if he's being harder on Kent Johnson if he makes mistakes.
The question isn't about being hard on players. Coaches are like, there's no issue if he was hard on a younger player. The issue is he's essentially being.
Well, I'm not saying that that was
creepy.
no, I'm not saying
Yeah.
that was wrong. I'm saying,
Yeah.
but like, if you're saying, like, I agree with you, but I'm saying like it's not the worst coaching tactic I've heard. Like being tougher on younger guys.
No, that's not the issue at all. Like being tougher on younger guys, I'm sure coaches do that in general. And like, I mean, being tough, I don't think a coach's job is necessarily to be liked in the sense of like, his tactics may not always be liked, or the way he's hard on people may not always be liked. I think John Tortorella is probably a perfect example of that. But I think the main goal for a coach is to make sure that they remain respected. And I think Babcock has crossed the line in terms of what's hard and what's completely inappropriate. Yeah, and that's what he did in Toronto. So apparently in Toronto, like, because apparently like, because Spit and Chicklets are the ones who brought this out first, and they were contacted by former, I think one or two former Leafs players being like, "Hey, look, he's doing the same thing he did in Toronto," and apparently he did look at phones in Toronto and stuff and all, and did that kind of stuff with the younger players. So, obviously he hasn't learned anything, like almost 4 years away from coaching.
Do we think? Okay, this is gonna be a super stretch. Do you think that he did that so that none of the young players would have like a Logan Mayu situation?
No, I think he's just a bad person.
Oh, bro, that'd be hilarious.
I don't think he's done it. I don't think he's done it to have one specific situation, to avoid one specific situation or something. But I feel like, what was the main report? That there was one meeting that he had, which was apparently at his home or away from the rink in general, and it was with a younger player, and it involved like a pretty long time on that player's phone, going through that player's phone, and that's the player that came out and actually told management that like he was feeling uncomfortable about that because it was away from the rink. It was, I think, at like a lunch or something with Babcock, and
bro, he was airplaying stuff on the
yeah
team screens and whatever. That's just weird.
And there was the airplaying stuff where, I mean, there's like, hey, you got a wife? Oh, show me a picture. Hey, you got kids? Oh, let me see a picture. Hey, you got a pet? Let me see a picture. There's another thing. Hey, let's put your phone up on the big screen TV there.
Let's just scroll through your camera roll
and go through your pictures and see what you did up this summer. And what do you think some of the younger guys might have had? Like, honestly, I wouldn't be like happy showing my phone.
What do you have on your phone?
Sometimes I have like dry skin somewhere and I'll take a picture to check it out. I don't want Mike Babcock seeing that.
I was thinking more of like a risky meme or something like that, not dry skin.
I was thinking a risky picture.
I had this patch of dry skin on the back of my neck at one point, and I took a picture of it to like check it out because I couldn't see it. I imagine Mike Babcock saw that, and he benched me because of my dry skin.
I don't think that's the reason he benched you.
Benched you because of that. We're not playing you until you get this checked out.
But yeah, I'm gonna assume that this was his last shot. I think NHL career over.
Well, yeah, I mean he's done. He also made like a ton of money already anyway, so it's not like he's up.
Is he getting paid? The Columbus.
I mean, I don't. That's what I'm waiting. I'm waiting for details to come out about that. I don't know if we're gonna get details about that.
That would be super funny if he got paid for like an additional 3 years from Toronto and then got paid.
He got paid his whole contract in Toronto. Because he got paid his whole contract in Toronto because he wasn't allowed to sign a new contract until the duration of the deal.
Yeah, I know. It'd just be funny if he also gets paid, like doesn't coach, and then gets paid the Columbus one too.
What was his contract? What was his contract with Columbus? It was
like 2 years, 2 years, 9 mil or something like that. I don't know.
9 mil?
It was I thought it was more than
2 years, 8 mil, 2 years, 9 mil, something like that. Or it was 4 years, 8 mil, something in that.
Are they going to go based off like if he resigns, he forfeits money, right? Is that how it works?
That's what I would assume.
He has a 500 record. That's pretty successful in Columbus.
But
there's a clause in his contract. You have to make it at least one game to get any money.
Yeah, I can't believe he didn't make.
He didn't even make it a preseason, so
he didn't make it a training camp. Forget preseason.
He didn't make it at a rookie camp, bro.
Yeah, man, it was insane. But yeah, that's the interesting. The man who didn't learn his lesson.
Yeah, but he still made a ton of money anyway, so I don't think he
I
really
mean,
cared.
Watch them sign like
imagine this was
Joel
his.
Quenville now.
No, they got him.
Do you know what he was doing for the last four
They got
years?
someone already?
Well, the assistant coach is just the
Yeah,
coach.
it's some
Yeah,
Pascal Biscuit
Pascal
Vincent.
Vincent or Vincent. Yeah.
People are like very happy about him getting a job because he's been like 22 years or something like that as an assistant or something like that. I don't know.
Oh wow, okay,
So
I
he
didn't know
should
that.
have already been a coach.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool actually.
Do you know what Babcock was doing for the last 4 years? He was like coaching like Canadian university hockey or something.
Yeah, Saskatchewan. Well, he did that for 1 year. He got knocked out of round one in the playoffs actually.
Yeah,
With
but it doesn't
University of
mean
Saskatchewan.
that's
Which
like
is
saying,
funny.
oh well, like
How will we gauge
who's
that
the
though? I don't know anything
winningest
about
coach of all time in
Canadian
the
women's
NHL? What's
hockey
his name again?
or
Jack
men's hockey.
Adams?
No.
But who is
Wait,
it?
what are you talking about?
Winningest coach ever?
Scotty Bowman?
Scotty Bowman.
Yeah.
That's like saying if you get bumped in the first round, oh, he's
No. It's funny because Babcock hasn't gone past round one since 2012, 13, 12 or something. I don't know.
Probably
His
more of a Toronto issue than a
so
Babcock
like
issue.
so he had like a few seasons after in Detroit where he just wasn't getting out of round one. Then Toronto he didn't get out of round one, and now he went to Saskatchewan and the uni team didn't the college team didn't get out of round one. I just found that funny, but that's maybe just the Leaf ex-Leaf guy in me,
I think the
You
the
must be
best thing to come out of this, the best thing to come out of this is like I think Spin Chickless talks about it a fair amount. There's like a ton of coaches and GMs that kind of just get recycled, and even if they're not successful or whatever, and it takes a lot for them to break from that cycle. So this might actually like help lead towards that. Like guys like him leaving, guys like Randy Carlisle leaving, etc. Hopefully, we see that more.
Yeah, but I
Because
think in
even with
general,
GMs too, they're so recycled. It's insane. Like someone like Peter Laviolette was horrible in Washington, but he
yeah,
just goes out and gets another job just like that.
yeah, because I think well, I mean, some of them who get recycled, like okay, like a Tortorella or a Laviolette, who like if they lose one, they'll get it somewhere else. It's because whether it's even if it's short term, they do show success wherever they go. Generally,
They had,
generally,
but it's
yeah,
like they've had success like 10 years ago, and it's lasting them till now. Because Laviolette hasn't had success since Nashville.
yeah. Laviolette has it. It's true. But I feel we have been seeing more often than not, especially in the last 5 to 7 years of assistant coaches being promoted and sticking with the
Yeah, it
job,
needs to
or like
happen.
minor league coaches coming up and sticking and keeping the jobs. Like Babcock left and it wasn't some other guy who came. It was Keith came from the Marlies.
Spencer Carberry in Washington.
Yeah. Right now they just gave Pascal Vincent the job. Yeah.
Woodcroft.
Even Woodcroft in Edmonton. So it's happening more where these younger
DJs.
coaches are getting the nods.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, even with like GMs, like you said, I can understand like flipping the same guy a couple times if he hasn't been like outstanding, or because it could be circumstantial, kind of like Pierre Dorion when Eugene Melnick,
Yeah.
Ottawa Senators. Like there weren't a ton of trades where you were like, wow, that was a home run or that was really good. Like the Carlson one was pretty good, but like weren't a ton that you were like, oh, nice. Like we really made a splash, whatever. Since that has changed, we've gotten Tarasenko. I mean, they're not all trades, but they're signing Tarasenko, Giroux, traded for DeBrincat, traded for Chikrin. Like it seems like every single person, I'm like, oh, that'd be cool if they came to the Sens. I'm like, huh, they're on the Sens now. That's kind of weird. Usually it's like, oh my gosh, Ryan O'Reilly 4 years ago was on the trade block. That'd be kind of cool if we got him.
Yeah.
Never happened. But now it's like, now that there's a whole different situation for someone, it can kind of change. But I can understand if like Laviolette's been to like 37 different teams, even though there's only 32 in the NHL. And, he just keeps getting contracts.
I think Laviolette, the problem with him too was the fact that Washington needed to get younger, and he refused to let that happen. Like he would just play older guys like Matt Irwin over guys like Alexiev, even if Alexiev plays 10 times better in the 1 or 2 games that he plays. So I don't know. The thing is, he's going to New York, and it's pretty much the exact same situation in terms of like the ratio of old players to new players. Like I don't know how
My theory for Laviolette's time in Washington is that yes, he was being stubborn. I have a feeling though that he went in and put a lot of pressure on himself because he went in right after they won a cup, And he didn't want to be like, oh, I'm gonna look at the young guys and we're gonna do kind of a retool to be competitive again. He's like, I want to keep winning and I want to win
He was
it
after.
again.
We had another coach before him though. We had another coach between him and Trotz.
Oh, okay. I thought he was your hire right after Barry Trotz left.
Our assistant coach was, and he was just as bad. So
Yeah. All right, so let's start. Okay, we're gonna give you our Atlantic Division previews for the 2023-2024 season, starting with Sufi.
Montreal 8th.
All right, Evan.
I also have Montreal 8th.
I also have Montreal 8th.
Nice job, guys.
I think that's maybe the one thing we'll agree on in this. Or maybe the next one. I have Red Wings at 7.
I also have Red Wings at 7.
Red Wings at 7.
Okay, good. Good start, boys. All right, here's where it gets
only two obvious ones, or well, kind of. Let's see what happens with Red Wings. But yeah.
This is where it gets dicey. I have Boston Bruins 6.
Oh, this is what I had last year.
Oh, I don't have Boston in here.
Oh, you're not Boston in here. Oops. Give us your Boston Bruins.
That's 7 teams, or do you have 2 teams or one team?
7.
Okay.
Okay.
That's probably the hardest team to place. You forgot them.
Shoot. I thought I put them all down. Give me a second.
I'll edit this out just to when you just say it. So just whatever, take your time.
1 through 6 of this, it was horrible for me to attempt. 8 and 7 were the only ones that I was like, okay, I know this. But the thing is, I could even see the Wings not finishing at 7. And there's also a world that I can see the Habs finishing ahead of the Wings.
I mean, yeah, that could happen. I do feel like Montreal at 8 is a pretty.
But no. That's they're definitely on paper the last place team, but
yeah,
it isn't like we get like a full year out of certain players. Anything can happen.
All right. At 6th, I have Buffalo.
Oh God, that's such an Evan pick.
I'll actually explain after.
I did think about putting Buffalo down there too, but I do think they'll have a better season. I'm actually also going to choose Boston to go 6th this year.
Okay, I'll explain. I think.
Well, why don't you explain after we do our picks?
Okay.
Yeah. All right, Sufi.
I have Panthers at 5.
I also have the Panthers there.
I've got Buffalo at 5.
You got Lightning at 4.
I have Boston at 4.
I've got the Panthers at 4.
You got the Sens at 3.
I also have the Sens at 3.
I've got the Sens at 3.
Ooh, I like this.
I had them there last year too, though, right? Didn't I? No, I didn't have them last year. No, I had them
at 4.
I had them in wild card, but I had them in 4th, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I have Sabres at 2.
I have Toronto at 2.
I've got Tampa at 2.
I got Toronto 1.
I have Tampa 1.
Toronto 1.
All right.
So we'll start with so Evan had the Sabres coming. No, yeah, the Sabres coming in at 6. Why don't you give us your explanation?
Sabres were the most differing in our list.
Yeah.
Let me explain. I think legitimately Tampa to Detroit, so it's pretty much excluding Montreal. I have no idea.
Yeah, it's tough.
Like all of them could have 90 points. Like legitimately. I just wouldn't be surprised one way or another. My reasoning, I won't talk about Detroit really, but Buffalo there, my reason being is they have very young goalies. So, and very young goalies usually isn't immediate success. There's growing pains, regardless of how solid your defense is. They do a pretty solid defense core. I think Rasmus Dahlin really sets himself apart from anyone else there. Where, like, in my opinion, Boston has a better defense core than them. I think Ottawa similar, but I think Ottawa has like more depth on defense in the sense of like their top four is more like evened out, where Rasmus is better than any of the Senators' defensemen.
The top 4 is more evened out in Ottawa.
Yeah, as in Chikrin, Zub, Shabbat, and Sanderson.
I'll give you that. Fine, yeah.
Nah, bro, come on. Samuelson and Zub are the same player, just different hands.
Sanders. Okay, Sanderson is
Samuelson and Zub. And then Power and Sanderson are that far apart. And Darlene is much better than Shabbat.
There's Chikrin too. So I'm saying the fourth guy's better than their fourth guy.
I think the fourth guy doesn't have as much of a difference as Darlene to Shabbat or Sanderson, where we consider the best defenseman on that team.
And I said Darlene's the best.
Yeah. Well, Darlene is the best by far, not just the best. He's the best.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But then I don't see that much.
It's also right that like there's Chikrin in the mix. And Sanderson's quite promising still going into his.
Can I take another step?
Yeah.
But again, I don't see Sanderson as that much better than.
And then I would say like legit Buffalo, Florida, not Boston, Ottawa, Toronto, Tampa, all have pretty good forward cores. It's not like Buffalo's forward core is like crazy better than Toronto's or crazy better than Ottawa's or crazy better than Tampa's. I think all of them have their like star players. They all have some guys that can give you a 60 to 70 points, whatever it is. So Buffalo for me, literally, I agree. Like they could be in second. I don't know. But for me, like their goaltending is so inexperienced, and as well, like their team overall, like they have some guys like Tage, like Dylan Cousins, Jeff Skinner, who have or Tuck as well, like games under their belt. But then like their third line or guys that could slot in their second line as well are really young and similar with other teams too. But I just felt like Buffalo, if I had to guess, that's where I'm putting them. Like I said, like this isn't my perfect thing because I just don't know because they are all so close. It's not like one team.
You put Buffalo sixth and you had Boston at fourth.
Yeah.
And then in between you had Florida.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's not all that like. Yeah, I do see Florida being ahead of Buffalo. I disagree with. I mean, Boston and Buffalo is the only ones I would switch on your list. In terms of like, I really don't think. I do think Buffalo's going to take a step.
Yes, Boston is worse, but their defense core is still like really, really good, especially with a Charlie McAvoy. They had probably players that benefited from their team last year in net, but still a really good goalie tandem. And then you still have Pasternak who could give you 100 points, 50 goals. You have Marchand who could give you
like 80
easily
points.
80 points. You have like DeBrusque who scored like 25 last year. You have like other guys that can hopefully step in and contribute. They're not going to contribute like Bergeron and Krejci per se, but they were getting older. So I don't see them being like a complete mess of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like there's no way, in my opinion, that they're just going to have like 5 or more teams pass them. Like that'd be crazy to me. So I could see a few teams passing them for sure. And I could see them missing the playoffs. But I don't think it's going to be like, oh, they're out. Like even in like February.
Yeah. No. Okay.
We just view these teams very differently.
But you said you changed your list like 8 times already. Like I could change.
Yeah, but that's one thing that I didn't really budge on with Buffalo being high. But like, also the goaltending for me is like, yes, inexperience isn't ideal, I guess, for goaltending, but it's kind of the way with goalies. Like a lot of the younger goalies come out of nowhere and succeed. Like that's been where Shesterkin came from. That's been where Sorokin came from. Even Philip Gustafson to an extent. I think Devin Levi has as much talent as those guys, being that he's shown that. So
sure, but that's not at the NHL level. Like there's been guys who've been hyped up at every position that come in and don't.
Yeah, but I mean, he had when he did play last year for the last 7 games, he was amazing, and then like he's shown that he could be good at this level. So I have no reason to.
But those are non-stress games.
Okay, well, like that isn't really the biggest argument for me. I don't know. Like he's going to take the
Buffalo is one of the streakiest teams over the past decade. They'll legit win like 15 games in a row. But this has happened. No, this has literally happened like year after year. I'm just saying, like every year it's like Buffalo 12-game win streak, and then they go on a 10.
Yeah, but that didn't. That literally
Every
ended
year,
last
no
year.
matter
Yeah.
what.
That literally ended last year. Last year they had.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it did. The first
beginning of the year.
month. Listen to me. The first month they were good. Second month they were the bad, and then from there on they were good. It was literally just 1 month.
Yeah.
It wasn't
No,
just up and down like that.
Yeah, no. They do generally have a spurt in the year where they'll be really hot. Whether it's a month's time, whether it's a few weeks, they'll have like I think between a 10 and 15 game span.
Those were very different teams, though.
Really hot. Yeah, but it is like I've even noticed for probably a few years straight where it's like, oh, Buffalo came out of the gate hot, or Buffalo's hot at this time.
They had the third best offense in the league last year, and like that wasn't with like even having the best power play because they had certain guys out for an extended period of time. And then like I just don't see their defense being as bad as last year after adding like a couple of guys and hopefully having some sort of stability in net with Levi. So I don't know. I just don't see them in the same way.
But like
because for me their defense is equal to or better than Ottawa's, Detroit's, definitely Florida, definitely Toronto. Just not Boston. But then Boston has inefficiencies in their offense. So I don't know.
It's like to put Levi after 7 games or whatever it is as your starter and expect him to just like be the guy that is going to get you to the playoffs.
Yeah, but he can.
Hard to believe. Like I think he could have a very good season as a goalie, but like even
he has the
other guys who like his backup, isn't he young too? Like like you in other places like Long Island, when you had Sorokin, you had like Varlamov or Halak, like guys who have done that for a long time and can still give you games and have done this for so long.
They have Eric Comrie,
where it's like 2 20-year-olds that are like, so
Ukko-Pekka Lekkonen's like 24 or 25 now.
Yeah, but he
and Levi's like 21. But
regardless, rookie or really
young goalies isn't necessarily a bad thing anymore as much as it used to be. Like just because you're 30 doesn't make you a better goalie than someone that's 21. It just means like you do have more experience. But like there's guys that come out of nowhere and succeed.
And had been there before.
The reason that guys like Gustafsson weren't getting the chance is you don't need a goalie like that to succeed, bro. Just Tristan Jarry came up under Matt Murray. They were both inexperienced.
Matt Murray won 2 Stanley Cups, Sophie.
Matt Murray was like
who?
Yeah,
Marc-Andre Fleury.
And then Tristan Jarry came up underneath Murray, and they were both like the same age. It's not like they're that much different in age. So,
but Fleury,
that isn't really an argument.
Something in them.
Sure.
Thank you.
Levi was under Craig Anderson, so that's your favorite goalie of all time.
Yeah. Okay, but we haven't talked about the fact that according to Evan's list, we would have a Sens Leafs round 1 if it were to happen.
Yeah, you guys wouldn't talk for a very long.
That'd be fun.
We go to a game together. We'd have to.
Oh,
no,
I'm so stressed.
It would be really fun, actually. If the Sens Leafs series, the last one I saw was 2004 when I was 10 years old. So
you guys aren't going home in the same vehicle.
It would actually be very fun if that series happened. Whether it be like I think Leafs are a sure shot for first in the division, but I mean they could.
No, I think it's a sure shot to win in the first round.
No. Well, they're sure shot for first in the division in my opinion, but I think there's still a chance that Tampa could take the first spot, and it could be a Toronto, Ottawa. 2,
to be fair, this is the longest break Tampa's had in like 4 years.
Yeah,
which is like
Tampa's team in general is. Like I thought they were gonna look much worse, and then I looked at their depth chart and I was like,
"It's pretty good.
It's all right still." Yes.
Like they don't have deficiencies anywhere.
No, so that's the thing. Like Tampa, they could like they could win the President's Trophy this year.
Yeah.
Not out of the realm of possibilities.
All right, so let's move on to our picks for the division. Then our bounce back / breakout / decline picks of the division.
As we're recording, just off camera, we were talking about Vancouver not having enough cap space because of Tanner Pearson coming off of LTIR. Vancouver Canucks have traded Tanner Pearson and a 3rd round pick to the Montreal Canadiens in exchange for Casey DeSmith.
Dun dun dun. Interesting trade.
Montembeault, Allen. They did tell DeSmith that they would trade him, so that's nice. Very cute.
Right.
Demko DeSmith, I like that for Vancouver. Still putting them at 6. I like Pearson in Montreal too. I think that's gives him another roster player.
Yep, that's another NHL player.
It helps. Probably need to find those on defense somewhere, but game is the game. I guess they're just going to go with the all 20-year-old decor and Matheson.
Yep, and Chris Wyden.
I don't even know if he's getting ice time at this point, but
Senators legend. All right.
So we're going to give you our breakout slash bounce back slash decline players of the division, of the Atlantic Division. We started our ranking with Sufi, so why don't we start our division player picks with Evan?
Shit.
What?
Yeah, I need to make sure that you guys don't pick my players. I've had them for so long.
I'm actually hoping.
All right, my bounce back, decline, and breakout are all in the Sens.
No, I don't think they are.
No, they're not. I'll go with my breakout first.
Good, because I
don't think this is going to be a crazy breakout, but I think it'll be an improvement from last year. I think this person was too big last year. I'm assuming they're going to come in better shape or leaner shape, and hopefully they don't get hurt. I mean, they're an ex-first overall pick. I was at the draft.
Oh, the big guy.
Juraj Slavkovsky.
All right.
I could see him getting like 45 points.
Okay.
20 goals, 25 assists, something like that.
All right.
He should have had in his rookie year.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna do a bounce back pick actually for me. I'm gonna pick a defenseman for bounce back. Because he didn't have, according to his standards, the best season last year, which was Victor Hedman.
Fair.
So I'm going to give him, he's had more rest this offseason, no Stanley Cup finals to deal with. He's had a long time since April he's been off, so I think he's going to be rested, recharged, and be the Victor Hedman we're used to seeing. Defensively, anyway.
I think he's going to be, now it's kind of just like the transition of the guard for them. Like I think Sergachev is like the number one there. He's gonna be the guy on the first power play. He's gonna take more minutes to Hedman, which I think will benefit Hedman. Now he's just gotta. I think he's gonna like ease off into the twilight. I don't think he's gonna like drop off significantly. He's gonna be like a nice slide into retirement in like 4 or 5 years. You know.
All right.
I think last year we saw like the drop in play, which
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna like get back to what he was when he was scoring like 80 points and stuff. But like. It might not even be possible because he's not going to be on the first power play, but I think he's going to be like a solid top 4 guy now for like the rest of his career. You know?
Makes sense.
My breakout is someone that already broke out, but he got injured. So I can pick him. It's Cole Caulfield. Last 82 games. Last 82
that
games.
shouldn't count. I don't like that.
I'm going to pick Austin Matthews
counts.
because, he had 60 goals, but I think he had 65.
Last 82 games of his career since Marty St. Louis got hired, 47 goals.
How is that how is it a breakout now then?
Because he only played 40 games last year. He only had 26 goals.
Yeah, that's more like a bounce back than a breakout.
Yeah.
You want me to cop out? It's not really a bounce back. It's a don't injure yourself again.
Yeah, but like it's not a breakout because he's like we already know he is what he played. He was still dominant even if he was injured for half the season. When he didn't play, he was still dominant.
All right. I knew it would cause some hoopla. All right, I'll change it.
Still the biggest problem in our lives is like 5-hour time difference.
I'm gonna pick.
No, it's okay. Stick with your guns.
No. It's too easy. You guys are right. It was an easy cop out, especially because of my goalie pick. But I'll go Lucas Raymond. I think this could either be a breakout or a bounce back, either or. He had a very good rookie season, and then had like a very
sophomore slump.
He had a meh second season, and I think he can hit 60 points. I think he just needs to be more consistent, like throughout the year, and instead of going on streaks, he'll be fine.
All right, back to you, Evan. Your next pick.
Oh, yeah, you did say one. I was like, what? All right. My decline isn't necessarily they're going to play like worse. I just think they overachieved last year. Similar to someone else's Josh Morrissey pick.
Oh, that was we're doing the same player here.
I think Brandon Montour
Yeah. Okay.
on the
Great.
Florida Panthers isn't going to have 73 points again. I'm going to be honest. It was like career high before that was like 36 or something. So I could still see him being an effective two-way defenseman.
I can see the assists being similar. It's just the goals. It's only goals.
He have like 21 or something.
23.
Anyways, this guy's cracked. Too cracked. So I'm saying he's gonna be less cracked.
Okay, fair. I think my decline. You might not consider this a fair pick for decline, but
William Nylander.
But I'm gonna say it.
I didn't pick Victor Hedman as also decline.
No, I'm going for my decline. Linus Ullmark.
I mean, yeah, if he gets like a 2 GAA, it's a decline.
Yeah, so I thought it's not going to be a fair pick. But I feel like the team plays a big factor. I feel like he's not going to
16 goals.
Yeah, I feel like it's not going to be that.
Right.
He won't be as dominant as last season. Let's just say. Go ahead, Sufi.
That's fair. I could see I think they need Swayman to kind of take over there, so that Omar can get traded
and make big mistakes by handling the puck wrong in the playoffs.
He was injured, bro. They should have kept him.
Yeah, they should have. They really should have.
So now that my forward pick got thumped and then my defense pick got taken, I have to.
Hedman, you were going to do Hedman as well?
No, I was going to pick Montour.
Oh, sorry, Montour. Yeah.
Montour and Morrissey were very similar for me in my head. They were very similar to me in my head. I'm gonna go. Break out Chris Weidman. I'm joking.
That's such a me pick.
No,
that's like my Jeff. That's really like
off
my
the top of your head. Pick a random player on a random team. I'm really thinking that Zemgus Girgensons.
No, this guy hated on my Jeff Carter pick like crazy. This is essentially the same.
I'm not actually picking him. The difference is you actually did Jeff Carter.
An all-star at one point.
Yeah.
Chris Weidman is like a role defenseman.
Oh, you're not actually picking him? I thought you were actually picking him.
Oh.
Okay, sorry.
Not you.
Sorry. Yeah, that's why I was like, what are you doing?
Your entire Metro picks piss me off. I still can't recover from that. I'm gonna go breakout. And I'm gonna go. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go a bit of a bounce back here. Okay. His first half wasn't good because he was playing with Ben Sherratt. His second half was very good because he wasn't playing with Ben Sherratt. So this year, I think they're not going to play with Ben Sherratt at all. Maurice Sider is going to hit 60-plus points very easily. Why are you whispering in his ear, bro?
And you're going to go Detroit all the way through.
Oh, yeah, I won Raymond. Yeah, well, whatever. But I think 60 points. I don't even think 70 is out of the question. The way he played in the second half, when he played with Jake Wallman, who is apparently healthy now, and I think they're going to experiment with the Sherratt Hall pairing in Detroit, which would be fun. But
that's why they're going to be in seventh.
Yeah, so I think a lot of ice time is going to go to Sider Wallman when that all implodes. Yeah.
All right. And then our final picks. Evan, back to you.
This is an easy one. Bounce back. Mr. Ouch, my shoulder. Josh Norris. Played 5 games last year, I'm pretty sure. Had like a goal.
Hey, come on. If I didn't get Caulfield, he can't get Norris.
Hey, he didn't play last year. Caulfield played half a season.
Up to you.
I disagree.
You want me to go someone else?
No, because I kind of agree with you, so it's fine.
I'm not saying he's going to get 35, but I could see legitimately, I was saying this the other day, I could see every person, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I could easily see a world where any or every of the Ottawa Senators top 6 has at least 60 points.
Say the same about Buffalo.
Or 70. Or 90. Or 100.
Okay, great. Good. Okay. So Josh,
I'm gonna clip just that part and send it off to the Wolves and see what the vibes are.
100 points in their careers is what I meant.
All right, my breakout player. Yes, Matthew Nyes.
There you go. My breakout is Devin Levi, goalie. So I already talked about him earlier, so I don't really need to talk about him more. But I say my projection, he plays 50 games. We get around like a 2.6 to 7 GAA, like a 910 to 915 save percentage. Pretty conservative, but it's a first year goalie on a high scoring team. So, yeah.
All right. Not bad. All right, those were our picks. Let's turn the light on. It's dark in here now. We're getting sunset coming. Okay, this brings us to the game of stats. Right. All right, so I thought a fun stat game for today would be, to stay on topic of recent news in the NHL. So we have a little bit of a different one. It's not going to be a player-centric stat game. It's going to be a coach-centric stat game. So I want you guys to give me
I'm not going to like this.
top 10 all time so far.
Yeah.
Top 10 in wins, career wins as coaches.
This is guy. It takes guys from like the 70s, though.
You'd be surprised. This shouldn't be that difficult for you guys to get in terms of coaches you know. Okay, I'm gonna give you 4 strikes.
Is there coaches we won't know on there?
Are the coaches you won't know? Nope. There's not a single coach that you have at least not heard of on this list.
That's
All right,
helpful.
Scott Bowman,
Oh yes, obviously number 1.
Yeah.
Mike Babcock.
Yeah.
Are you guys guessing him?
Mhm.
Mike Babcock is the number 12th in all time, actually. So that's a
We
strike.
didn't guess him, though. We didn't guess him.
I know.
That's a strike.
Okay, Sophie, do you think Joel Quenneville? I think he is.
If Babcock wasn't there, then it's hard for me to say Quenneville. I'd say like Trotz before Quenneville. Because Trotz was there for like 20 years, just on longevity. Quenneville was there for like 10.
Okay, then guess Trotz then, if you believe that.
Trotz.
Trotz is number 3.
Yeah. I know.
Okay, now Quenneville?
Sure, if that's your guess.
Quenneville.
You.
Quenneville, number 2.
What the hell did I say, Sophie? You stupid head.
We're both right. It's fine.
So you've got 1, 2, 3.
We're on the same team. Imagine
TJ Smith,
TJ Smith.
Tortorella, Laviolette.
I should have used that in the preview. My one reason for the Sabres being ahead of the Sens is DJ Smith. Because until he gets fired, they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I can clip this part and put it in that section.
Please do.
Okay, who's
It
next?
is actually part of my team. So
Who's next, pal?
who coached for a long time? Paul Maurice.
Randy Carlisle.
Yeah, Carlisle, I guess. Who coached Gretzky?
His dad. I would say Torts, maybe.
Torts. Oh yeah, Torts has been around. Torts, he coached Tampa in 04 when they won the cup, so he could be there. Are you looking at
That's him if I see Omar avidly scrolling?
So you guessing him?
Are we?
Yeah.
John Tortorella, with 704 career wins, comes in at number 11.
Oh, stupid.
So that is your second strike.
That's dumb.
Oh, what about Brian Murray? Was he there from the start?
Oh. Yeah, Paul Maurice.
I did say Paul Maurice.
I know, but we didn't guess him.
Okay.
Paul Maurice.
Paul Maurice, with 817 wins,
He's there.
brings him at number 6.
Brian Murray. Brian Murray, Randy
Oh,
Carlisle,
Claude Julien.
Cloud.
Cloud. Blood.
Cloud. Yeah, Claude Julien could be there.
Should we guess him?
Mike
Michel
Milbury.
Therrien.
Jeez.
Claude Julien.
Is that a guess?
Yep.
Number 16. So
All right, let's just guess a player.
strike number 3. So you got one more
Murray.
strike.
Martin St. Louis.
You know what? I'll give you guys
Murray.
5 strikes. 5 strikes.
Brian Murray.
You guessing him?
I guess.
Yeah.
Number 19.
Bro, let's give us the top 20, bro. Screw it.
So now you have 1 strike left because I upped it to 5.
Let's just.
Did we guess Laviolette?
No.
I don't know. He's been around for a while, I guess.
Laviolette.
Number 8.
Oh.
There we go. You're welcome, Laviolette.
Jacques Martin.
I'll give you a hint.
No.
Like, give us hints after
Okay.
our strikes are done. Yeah, sure.
Sorry, who?
Shane Pinto.
Who was the guy before you were saying?
I don't know.
He just said, yeah, sure. To who?
Jacques Martin.
Claude Julien.
Already
You
said
already
Claude.
said Julien.
Again.
So you guess? Are you guessing Jacques Martin?
Yes.
He's number 22. So that's 5 strikes.
All right. Just tell us.
Okay, so you have Scotty Bowman, Joel Quenneville, Barry Trotz, and you have Paul Maurice. So I'll give you a hint. The number 10 coach, the 10th winningest, has 722 wins.
Oh.
He's coached
Wait. Before you say
Philadelphia
that,
Flyers, the New York Rangers, the Vancouver Canucks,
Bruce Boudreau.
and he's also had a stint in Montreal.
Mike Milbury
No.
is oh crap, he was just in my head. Who was it?
He coached Vancouver when they were very good in the early 2010s.
I'm so mad. Because this guy was spieling on, I totally forgot about the guy that I had in my head.
He went to the finals with Vancouver against Boston and lost in Game 7.
Do we?
Who was that coach?
Okay.
Then he coached the Rangers.
Who's the guy that coached Pittsburgh for a long? Dan Balsma.
The number 4th is a very
Just tell
long-standing
us.
coach. Dallas, Philadelphia, Columbus, St. Louis,
yeah.
Edmonton.
His
is one of the Sutters there?
his son
yes.
in Ottawa.
Is it Daryl Sutter?
Daryl Sutter is number 9.
His
There we
son
go.
in Ottawa. Rick Bonus.
No.
Rick-
No,
Yeah, he barely coached.
I don't know.
Now, the other one, you should get this as soon as I say it. Buffalo, Dallas, currently the Devils coach.
Oh, Lindy Ruff.
Lindy Ruff is number 5. Number 7 was a St. Louis and an Islanders coach. He's not a coach at the moment.
St. Louis and the Islanders.
Al Arbor was number 7.
Is he even alive?
And I don't know, actually. Number 10, the Vancouver one, it was Alain Vigneault.
Oh, I know.
And
him.
number 4 was Ken Hitchcock.
Damn, we actually did know all of them.
I think you should have gotten more. I'm pretty disappointed at you guys. I think that was a pretty easy list for for a lot
Al
of
Arbor we wouldn't have got.
Al
Hitchcock,
Arbor was challenging, but like Ken Hitchcock, come on, guys. Ken Hitchcock.
Hitchcock we should have got.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna have to leave us.
Let's just continue the episode without him.
So that was episode 44 of the Unfortunate Diehards. Please follow us on Spotify, TikTok, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Amazon Podcast. Sorry, catch us on TikTok, Spotify, YouTube, and on Twitter, and follow us at the Unfortunate Diehards. Thank you for tuning in, guys.